The gun hasn't fired yet, and already this stadium feels like it's about to burst. 8 of the fastest women alive are settling into those blocks, and every one of them thinks tonight is hers. Ta Lu with that ice-cold focus. Dina Asher-Smith carrying an entire nation on her back. Shericka Jackson, calm and dangerous. Julien Alfred, the reigning Olympic champion, not blinking. And then Sha'Carri Richardson and Gabby Thomas, 2 Americans who do not lose quietly. This is the women's 200-meter final. 1 curve, 1 straight, 1 gold medal. Who's got it when the lights are brightest? Sha'Carri Richardson of the United States, lane 9. She lit up the 100-meter final and she's locked in for more. Lane 9 is her lane. She knows it. Coming off those semifinals, she knows what this field requires, and a personal best may be the price of entry tonight. Behind her is the fastest woman in the world this year. 2 spots over is the reigning Olympic champion. Richardson has never faced a 200-meter field this deep. The pressure is real. Gabby Thomas of the United States in lane 8. American women haven't won a world 200-meter title since Allison Felix in 2009. Thomas is a co-favorite, and she's got the perfect lane to chase the field down the straight. Shericka Jackson of Jamaica in lane 6. The defending world champion, the fastest woman alive over this distance. Jackson can see every rival from that spot. She's hunting gold again. Gabby Thomas, fresh legs, no 100 meters in her body. She's fully loaded. Julien Alfred of St. Lucia in lane 7, the reigning Olympic 100-meter champion. Shericka Jackson, 2-time world champion, ready. Daryll Neita of Great Britain in lane 5. She made the Olympic 100-meter final. Anthony Strachan of the Bahamas in lane 3. Marie-Josée Talou of Ivory Coast in lane 2. This is it. 8 women, 1 track, 1 title. The tension in this stadium is maxed out. Every athlete here has earned this moment. Every qualifier, every rep, every early morning leading to this. It all comes down to the next 21 seconds. Who has the start? Who owns the bend? Who has the legs at the end of that straight? Blocks are set. The crowd's gone quiet. We are right on the edge of something historic. Here we go. They're off. Jackson out of lane 6 immediately, driving hard into the bend. Thomas fires from 8, Richardson from 9. But it's Jackson threading through that curve like she owns it, pulling clear, and nobody in this field has an answer. Jackson is gone. It's over. Shericka Jackson wins. 21.41, a championship record. Back-to-back for Jamaica. First since Aude. 21:41. Second fastest time in the history of this event. She's 7/100ths away from Florence Griffith Joyner's world record. Gabby Thomas takes silver. Sha'Carri Richardson holds on for bronze. What a night. That was not close. The moment Jackson hit the top of that straight, it was done. 0.4 of a second in a sprint final isn't a margin. It's a statement. Look at Gabby Thomas, mouth wide open. She ran a great race and got outrun by a different class of athlete. We just watched the second fastest 200 meters ever run, right here, at a World Championship final. Shericka Jackson is in a league of her own. Absolutely phenomenal running. Jackson had something to prove after the 100 meters, and she came out and delivered. She started her career as a 400-meter runner, and that strength in the final 60 meters is what separates her from everyone in this field. While others were tying up, she was pulling away. Sha'Carri Richardson ran a personal best to earn that bronze. Gold and bronze at these championships for her. This is the largest winning margin in this event since Allison Felix took gold at Osaka in 2007. That does not happen in sprint finals. Jackson made it look routine. Jamaica on top of the world, Shericka Jackson on a victory lap. Watch the replay. This is how the race was won. At the gun, Jackson's reaction is sharp. She's upright and driving within the first 10 meters, already locked into her rhythm, heading into the bend. Thomas and Richardson both get out well from their outside lanes, but watch lane 6. Jackson is already running a different race. She takes the curve with real efficiency, upper body relaxed, stride long and controlled. She's not forcing anything. She's flowing, and that's what makes her so hard to beat. Coming off the top of the straight, that's the moment. Jackson has a gap that looks manageable on screen, but in real time, it's done. Thomas tries to respond. Watch her drive those arms harder down the straight. The gap doesn't close. Richardson is running everything right in lane 9, and she still can't cut the angle. Now watch Jackson's final 40 meters. No deceleration. Most sprinters at this distance start to tighten up right here. Lactic acid, mechanics breaking down. Jackson's stride barely changes. That's the 400-meter background paying off. She has conditioning the pure 200-meter specialists don't carry. And at this level, that's the difference between gold and silver. She started her career as a 400-meter runner, and the strength she built over that longer distance is exactly what keeps her legs turning over when everyone else is fighting to hold form. If you're chasing a healthy Shericka Jackson in the back straight, you need to be somewhere near 21.4 yourself. Nobody in this field was running that tonight. She's now 7/100ths away from Florence Griffith Joyner's world record, back-to-back world champion, and she is getting closer to the all-time mark with every race she runs. The race was over at the top of the straight, not at the finish line, not in the final 10 meters. The moment Shericka Jackson cleared the bend and hit open track, the gap was already there, and it was not going to close. That's where the 200 is really decided. The curve separates the field, and Jackson ran it better than anyone in this race had the ability to match. She came out of lane 6 with immediate drive, threaded through the turn with her upper body relaxed and her stride already lengthening. And by the time Thomas and Richardson were fighting for position on the straight, Jackson was already gone. 0.4 of a second. In a sprint final at a world championship, that's not a margin. It's a different category. The lane draw helped. Lane 6 in the 200 is close to ideal. Jackson could see most of her competition from the gun, which meant she could run her own race without guessing. Thomas in 8 and Richardson in 9 had the outside lanes, which gives you a tighter curve radius and a longer visual gap to close. It's a psychological disadvantage as much as a physical one. You run hard, you look up, and the woman you're chasing is still pulling away. Jackson, meanwhile, ran with the controlled aggression of someone who knew exactly where she was. Her 400-meter background shows most in the final 60 meters, where pure 200 runners start to accumulate lactic acid and lose mechanics. Jackson didn't tie up. Her stride barely changed through the finish. That conditioning, built over years of running a full lap at near maximum effort, is what gives her a finishing gear that the rest of this field simply doesn't have. Gabby Thomas ran 21.81 for silver, which on almost any other night in this event's history wins the race. Richardson's 21.92 bronze was a personal best, and it still wasn't enough to get within 0.4. Julien Alfred, the reigning Olympic 100-meter champion stepping up to the 200, finished 4th in 22.05, which suggests she has a real future in the event but wasn't yet ready to challenge for a medal at this level. Dina Asher-Smith, the 2019 world champion in this event, finished 7th in 22.34. She's had a difficult few years with injuries, and this result reflects that honestly. Daryll Neita ran 22.16 for 5th in what was still a strong performance for a woman who had already made the Olympic 100-meter final. The number 21.41 needs a moment. Florence Griffith Joyner ran 21.34 at the 1988 Seoul Olympics. That world record has stood for 35 years. Jackson is now 7/100ths away from it. The second fastest legal time ever run over 200 meters, and she did it in a championship final, not a time trial situation with pacemakers and perfect conditions. For historical comparison, Marlene Aute was the last Jamaican woman to win back-to-back world 200-meter titles. That was decades ago. Jackson just matched it. The winning margin here was the largest in this event at a world championship since Allyson Felix won by 0.53 seconds in Osaka in 2007. Margins like that don't happen at this level. The depth of the field in Budapest was real, and she still won by nearly half a second. Jackson arrived at these championships having already run 21.41 in semifinals or heats, and the question was whether she could replicate that form under final pressure. She did, and then she delivered the exact same time in the final itself. That consistency is what defines a champion at this stage of a career. She started as a 400-meter runner. Nobody projected this trajectory. Now she's the fastest 200-meter runner alive, outside of a 35-year-old wind-assisted record that increasingly looks reachable. The next major target is obvious: Florence Griffith Joyner's 21.34. Whether Jackson gets there depends on conditions, competition, and health. But for the first time since 1988, that record feels like something a living athlete might actually touch.